really turn off the credit report to your advantage, such as the X1 that I showed you guys. Okay? Also, you get a website, our website, you get to really turn off the credit report to your advantage. Such when as I'm doing my credit restoration, people say, why you got to charge $2,000? Okay? It's because you're getting so much from it. I'm removing negative items off your report. I'm adding positive items to your report. I'm boosting your credit scores. I'm leveraging the results so that you meet the criteria to be approved for funds that you don't have to pay back, ranging anywhere between 50 grand to 300 grand. I'm making sure that you get at least $500,000 in or around in credit card equity. And I say it that way because I teach you how to invest monies from credit cards. And I'll show you how to get credit cards that don't have late fees. Credit cards that you could turn off. You could literally turn off the credit report to your advantage, such as the X1 that I showed you guys. Okay? Also, you get a website, our website, you get to track your results, see when your money is pending, processing, or when the funding is cleared. You get to see what negative items that we removed as we're removing them, the positive items as we add them. And lastly, you get to see your credit scores while it's on the rise. And for those of you that think, well, I already got good credit, so, cut the fee in half, you're probably only talking about TransUnion, Experian, Equifax, and FICO, and you're not aware of the 30-plus different credit bureaus that have a say, and not just if you could get approved for a house or approved for a car, but how much money you could be approved for, or if you can even be approved at all, and if you have the right to get approved for monies you don't have to pay back. And if you do get approved for monies that you have to pay back, what is the interest rate? Or approved for credit cards, what's the APR? So one of the other things I always say is I'm too smart to be broke and it costs way too much to be poor. Concessions are made onto wealthy people or people that have demonstrated that they can make intelligible decisions as a consumer. Things cost a whole lot more when you demonstrate that you cannot make intelligible decisions as a consumer. When you're ready to pay the $2,000 to get started, just email me at brotherpolite45@gmail.com. Leave your full name and your phone number when you're ready. I pinned it to the top. Leave your full name and phone number only when you're ready to spend your $2,000 to get access to anywhere between 50 grand to 300 grand that you don't have to pay back. Credit cards, 6 figures worth in credit. Also, get the mentorship because boxers have trainers, basketball players have coaches, and when it comes to money, we just wing it, and we wonder why we're struggling. So you need a mentor. You need a mentor for money, just like basketball players need a coach, just like boxers need a trainer, because you're not going to go in there with the professionals and wing it and kicking no one's ass. You're going to get your ass kicked. And that's what's happening to us in this society. The onus isn't on us gaining enough economic esteem and momentum, and therefore we can't compete with the rest of society. Not because we're inferior, not because we're not intelligent, just simply because we're poorly educated. We have a low cognizance for money. That's the only reason. We have a low cognizance for money. That's the only thing that's stopping me. That's the only thing that's stopping all of us. A very low cognizance of money. Low cognizance of politics, low cognizance of money. I'm more than a plug, I'm the outlet. And that's what we're talking about right here. So you go to brotherpolite45@gmail.com, you leave your full name and your phone number when you're ready to spend the $2,000 to get access to anywhere between 50 grand to 300 grand that you don't have to pay back. Get you a caseworker that's going to deal with your credit exclusively and immediately. Get me as your mentor so I can prepare you for the funds coming in so you have a wide range of ideas, how you may want to invest the money so you can grow it into a larger amount. And also have our website at your disposal so that you can see the deleted items as we remove them, the positive items as we add them. And also you can see the money as it's pending or when it has cleared. So you leave your full name, your phone number whenever you're ready. You have to also keep in mind that I make available to my students or the people that join the mentorship, the credit restoration, microwave. What I make available to them is also my team of professionals inside of 60 to 90 business days. I make available my team of professionals to make it cheaper for people. So when people say, oh, it's $2,000, first of all, we're spending at least $640 on mail because we're mailing over 30 different credit bureaus and financial institutions on your behalf, and we're sending the mail out, registered mail, signature confirmation, green card receipt. Okay? That's what we're doing. Sending out registered mail, signature confirmation, green card receipt. That's what we're doing. This is important. So when we're sending 30 times the dollar amount they charge to send out mail, not just regular mail, registered mail, signature confirmation via green card receipt. And the reason why we send out the mail that way is because registered mail goes through a chain of custody where at least 3 people have to bear witness that the mail has been mailed out. 3 people bear witness that it's being sent to where the designated place is. Reason why that's important is because we use the law. We send out compendiums. Okay, a compendium is a form of document that writes things in question and answer form. So picture a person that's a liar, but you get to jump in anybody and you get to answer the questions on their behalf in truth. And you jump out their body and you get to ask the questions in an anticipation for them only to give the truth, not a lie. Picture debating people and they actually tell the truth instead of being dishonest. So what a compendium is a question and answer format, and you're answering on behalf of the person that you're questioning with title codes and statutes and laws as reference points to the answers to the questions that you're asking them. You're answering on their behalf. We use these compendiums when we're serving these papers on your behalf because the law stipulates that they will owe $20,000 to $30,000 if they don't respond to the mail that we send out. So that's why we send out the mail, registered mail, signature confirmation, green card receipt, because registered mail goes through a chain of custody where 3 people, not including yourself, 4, bear witness that that mail actually got sent that way. So now no one can lie and say they never received the mail, and then nobody wants to have to pay $20,000 to $30,000 for not responding promptly.
Love to hear that.
Okay, so just think about that. So in mail alone, times those 30 different bills and financial institutions would spend over $640 on your behalf just to correspond. Okay, so that's a compendium. And we also send out affidavits of facts and memorandums as well on your behalf. This is beyond the 609 letter paradigm. This is beyond that. Okay, and then the petitions that it costs us to say, hey, you qualify for these funds because you meet the criteria. And then you got to understand this. We have about 18 different venues or mediums that we petition on your behalf so you can get access to funds that you do not have to pay, because there's monies available to you that you don't have to pay back. There's monies available to you that you don't have to pay back. Granted, your age, your race, your gender, your neighborhood, your level of schooling, the amount of employees you have or the lack of employees thereof. If you're an entrepreneur, the 70-20 application is right there for you to get around 11, 15 grand for being an entrepreneur. If you're driving Uber, you're driving Lyft, you have over $10,000 that's available to you that you should be getting access to. The problem is, this isn't taught in school. This isn't broadcasted on television. And I'm darker than most people who have qualified the fact that they should be paid attention to based on what they know, presumably. So it's all difficult because some of you got the best information, or I would say some of you got the most technical information from people who's not my complexion. That's what I will say. And a lot of you tend not to learn much unless it's inside of the convention of a classroom forum. And many of you will say, well, how come he knows and I don't know? And the answer to that is very simple. I'm constantly studying, and I'm constantly asking questions to people within the confines of the circles that I stay in. But anyway, case in point is I have a team of professionals that oftentimes and ordinarily it's customary for professionals to charge for their services. My professionals don't charge for the services because when you make your monies on the back end, then I ask for 10%. So you pay $2,000 up front. We get you access to anywhere between 50 grand and 300 grand that you don't have to pay back. We get you 6 figures worth in credit card equity, lines of credit. That's the monies you do pay back if you use it. I'll show you how to use them both side by side to build your credit up more so. The monies you don't have to pay back and the monies you do pay back by way of credit cards. Because I expect you to invest using credit cards and build your credit in doing so. What happens is sometimes some of you guys have tax issues. So I get a tax professional to act on your behalf who's credentialed. So you can still get your monies. Sometimes you need a loan officer to push your monies through because the people that are supposed to be helping you at your bank may not necessarily help you. Sometimes you might need a CPA or accountant of some sort to help you out so we could go over a hurdle so you can meet the criteria to be approved for 2 or 3 different forms of money that's available to you. Sometimes you might just need a financial advisor to get an overview of what you got going on so they can steer you in the right direction. Some of you might need 1 or more of these people at the same time, and it's the only thing stopping you from getting access to 100 grand. Many of you may not have $2,000 plus the amount to pay a CPA, a financial advisor, a loan officer, a financial advisor. So all of those people are available to you at your bequest for absolutely free. The thing is, when you get your 200 grand, I ask for 10%. 10% of 200 grand is 20,000. Then I give the commission to everybody that's part of my team that is working for you on your behalf for free. They're working for you. They're working on your behalf for free because they understand you will get the money. And in doing so, in the internal of this process, you're also getting knowledge. And plus, I'm also mentoring you. But wherever you need a credentialed professional, we have them available. Because I dropped out of school 9th grade.
Right. You dropped out of high school. Let me write that down. Let me write this shit down. Keep saying this shit. This is at the 24-minute mark. 50. Let me do 50 seconds. Dropped out. So why the hell do we want a mentorship from a dropout, man? I mean, like, he's telling his people he dropped out. There's some of them still dumb enough to pay for his services. Dropped out. 9th grade dropout. We had the people with credentials. Yeah, sure you did. This dude's a horrible, horrible scam artist. So now the video is called No Matter. No matter how hard. That's the video. Okay, cool.
And plus, I'm also mentoring you. Doing so in the internal of this process, you're also getting have for free. They're working for you. They're working on your behalf for free.
And this word free is thrown around a lot. So you're gonna get access to $500,000 for free. You ain't got to pay it back. And you also got workers who working diligently on your behalf for free. All this is really everybody getting something free. So they're getting free money and free workers to work on their behalf. Free services, free money, free services. Got it. Okay, so they're going to get free money and they getting free services. And speaking of free, they will get their freedom snatched if they fall for this.
because they understand you will get the money. And in doing so, in the internal of this process, you're also getting knowledge. And plus, I'm also mentoring you. But wherever you need a credentialed professional, we have them available. Because I dropped out of school 9th grade. So I'm not credentialed. So I can't do everything. I'm full aware of many things, and maybe even hipped a lot of the professionals to many things. But I'm the one with the network, so everyone wins. So when I get the 10% on the back end, then I give a percentage to whom it concerns that has helped facilitate your process. And
Yeah, but you said some people are not giving you the 10% on the back end. So you're promising your workers, your alleged workers, that they'll receive some of the 10% that you're receiving, but you're telling them you're not getting the 10%. So wouldn't they like be in doubt? Like, I wonder if he keeping all that money. Like, wouldn't that just make sense? Like, this is a ball of just stupid shit. Because those professionals will sign a contract with you that, okay, you're gonna we're gonna do services on your behalf, and we're gonna provide your client with access of $250,000. Okay, you're gonna get 10% of that. And from that 10%, you're going to pay us some money, whatever that dollar amount is. I guess a percentage of that. And these professionals are not going to put you in contract. They're just going to believe you're going to fulfill your obligation. But you're telling them that, okay, so now let's make this make sense. So you're telling them, you're telling your workers that the person got the money, the person got the 250 grand, but they did not give you your 10%. So therefore, you can't pay them their fixed rate for the services that they provided on your behalf. But the client got the money because Polite said that they're not giving him the 10%, but they got the money. So the worker's like, okay, hold on. So the money was given to these people. They got the money, and you're telling us you didn't get 10%. Now, how can we prove you didn't get? How can you prove you did not get the money? Yo, it's common sense that they're gonna start thinking, wait a minute, all these people getting their money, like you promised, they're getting the money because we are the credential workers on your behalf. So they're getting the money, but nobody's getting paid. So you want us to believe they're getting the money, but they're not fulfilling their end and nobody's getting paid. You're not getting paid, I'm not getting paid. Like, come on. At some point, they're gonna start saying, hold up, man. You got 15 clients, you got them access to $250,000 each. And you getting 10%, okay, 10% of each 25 grand, that's a lot of money. Just put it like that. That's a lot of money for you. If you got the money, that's a lot of money, right? And if you did get the money, then you got nothing. But if you got the money, that's a lot of money. And 10% of all those clients is a lot of money for you. And our fixed rate is a lot of money for us. But you're telling us nobody paid you. And we supposed to believe that while you're riding around here in Rolls Royces, you're saying you're paying $1,000 in hotel, one day, $1,000 one day in hotel room. So you're doing all this flossing and fast and flexing. And you want us, the workers, to believe you're not getting paid. Like, come on, this whole operation would have crashed already. And his workers are black folks too. Like, stop it, bro. Who do you think you're talking to? You want us to believe you're not getting 10% from anybody. They're not fulfilling their obligation, but we're gonna still, come on, stop. It's just a ball of mess here. Stupid scam operation.
because they understand everybody's going to be professionals to many things, but I'm the one with the network. So everyone, 10% of 200 grand is officer. a financial advisor. So all of those people are available to you at your bequest for absolutely free. The thing is, when you get your 200 grand, I ask for 10%. 10% of 200 grand is 20,000. Then I give the commission to everybody that's part of my team that is working for you on your behalf for free. They're working for you. They're working on your behalf for free because they understand you will get the money. And in doing so, in the internal of this process, you're also...
Yeah, but okay, now make it make sense. They understand you will get the money, but there's no guarantee that they will give it to you. There's nothing. You said that, bro. You said you got videos where you said, look your boy out. Hook me up with 10% on the back end. So it's a hookup. You saying, look me out. They're not obligated. They paid you $2 grand, and you're saying the 10% off the 250 grand, the 200 grand is a hookup. It's a lookout. They're looking you out because you their boy. But it's not contractual. Your own mouth. So professionals on your behalf who's working for the client knows that the client, there's nothing there that makes them pay the 10%. It's just a promise. But again, they're going to believe you're so honest. Matter of fact, look. Polite's own mouth, he's not getting paid. People are not paying him the 10%. That's what he said. So by the client getting the money is not enough for the workers. You just said they understand you get the money. Yeah, the workers understand that, but they also understand they're not paying you. So they're not paying you, you can't pay them. So, I mean, that's not too promising for everybody. That's a stupid scam operation. And then the fact that they're taking your word that you're not getting paid. The 9th grade dropout, they got to trust you that you're not getting paid. Listen, this is just a ball of garbage. Hot garbage.
Is working on financial advisor. So all of those people are to 100 grand. Right direction. Some of you might need one or more of these people at the same time, and it's the only thing stopping you from getting access to 100 grand. Many of you may not have $2,000 plus the amount to pay a CPA, a financial advisor, a loan officer, a financial advisor. So all of those people are available to you at your bequest for absolutely free. The thing is, when you get your 200 grand, I ask for 10%. 10% of 200 grand is 20,000. Then.
So this is all hypothetical. He just said he asked for 10% of your 200 grand. He did not say he's owed. He did not say, you see how he like avoiding like legal issues? He asked for 10%. He does not say he's owed 10% or it's in the contract. He says he's asking for 10%. So workers are going to work on his behalf for the client, where the client is the only person getting guaranteed money. And all of this is based on Polite asking the clients. Now, these are clients who built a reputation, built a financial record of not being honest. Like the clients themselves built a financial record of not being, a financial historical record of not being honest because they don't pay their bills. All right, they owe owe people money. They got debt because they promised when they signed the contract, they promised to pay the loan back in increments or a certain fixed percentage rate, but they didn't do it. So they got bad credit and they called Polite to just erase it, not fix it, erase it. So these people are still the financial illiterate, irresponsible people who don't fulfill their end of the obligation of the agreement. But they're gonna fulfill it for Polite though. But then they don't because Polite said that they're not paying him. But he's gonna ask them 10%. So I wanted the workers who are working for free know that, well, they got to, because you got live videos. So they understand that the people getting the money, but you got to ask them for the 10% where they can say no. And according to polite, they've been saying no, but the people working for free are going to keep working for free. Yeah, come on. This doesn't make any sense.
And it's the only thing stopping you from getting access to 100 grand. Many of you may not have $2,000 plus the amount to pay a CPA, a financial advisor, a loan officer, a financial advisor. So all of those people are available to you at your bequest for absolutely free. The thing is, when you get your 200 grand, I ask for 10%. 10% of 200 grand is 20,000. Then I give the commission to everybody that's part of my team that is working for you on your behalf for free. They're working for you. They're working on your behalf for free.
And they get paid based on the client who can easily say no. And they have been saying no because they, again, have a history of bad debt and not paying their debt when they agreed to pay their debt. So now they're in debt to Polite, and they agreed to pay Polite the debt, the 10%. But then they're not paying him the 10%. You see what I'm going here? There's a behavior of these people of not paying their debt. But Polite gonna have his workers be promised commission based on the people paying their debt, but they have a history of not paying debt. Like, how promising is this? And then they're not paying their debt according to Polite, so nobody's getting paid except for the client, allegedly. According to the workers, they're looking like, nah, we don't believe that you're not getting paid, my boy. We believe you're just not paying us. And they would have been said, nah, we're good. And they would have probably had, since they're professionals, they would have probably had Polite prove he didn't get paid. This is just a sloppy scam operation. This is a piss poor scam.
Because they understand you will get the money. And in doing so, in the internal of this process, you're also getting knowledge. And plus, I'm also mentoring you. But wherever you need a credentialed professional, we have them available. Because I dropped out of school 9th grade. So I'm not credentialed. So I can't do everything. I'm full aware of many things, and maybe even hipped a lot of the professionals to many things. But I'm the one with the network. So everyone wins. So when I get the 10% on the back end, then I give a percentage to whom it concerns that has helped facilitate your process. And because they understand everybody's going to get their money, because everyone understands they're going to help you get your money, they know they're going to get you the money, they don't mind working because they know they're going to get the money on the back end when you give me 10% of what you did not have to pay back. So you get 300 grand, I expect 30,000. You don't have to pay the $300,000 back. So why would you get mad that you got to pay me 30,000? This is the problem with people in America, man. You have people who get $26,000 per each employee. We help service them for the employee retention credit. Not the 1099s, but the W-2s. If they had employees, 5 or more W-2 employees, we help them get a tax credit of $26,000 per each person. You got 10 employees, you made 260 grand. We charge our fee. Then people run off. They escape. They don't want to pay it. You had nothing. Literally, you damn near didn't have the $2,000 to pay us. Now you got the bag, and you shortchanging us. We fix your credit. The people who destroyed your life, where you couldn't even get a car, you couldn't get a house, you couldn't even get a Walmart card in your name. We fix all of this. But then you like, but damn, why I gotta give you 10%? Bitch, you ain't even have 200 grand. You didn't even have 2,000. So if I want 20,000 out of 200 grand, that's fair, especially if you don't have to pay the money back. But this is the type of stuff we got to deal with for people. And this is why I said, man, I got to fall back and I got to stop this. The credit restoration used to cost a lot more. I made it cheaper once I got the right amount of professionals to work around me. that would create your business trust. If you needed a real estate investment trust, an endowment fund trust, a solo tax lien trust fund, if you needed a type B private gift company, a LLC, if you needed a private interest holdings, whatever the case is, whatever business infrastructure that you need, in order for us to make sure you get access to your funds, I put those people in my circle so you can get it done. You're leaving with a wealth of information. The most valuable part of the service is actually the knowledge that you obtain. Because with that knowledge, you'll never have to go back into the space that you was in prior. That's why it's all about reciprocity. That which is mutually beneficial to both parties. But again, you go to brotherpolite45@gmail.com. You leave your full name and your phone number when you're ready to pay the $2,000 to get access to anywhere between 50 grand and 300 grand that you don't have to pay back. 6 figures in credit card equity. A mentor to coach you and prepare you for the money coming in, so that way you could grow your money to a larger amount of money because you'll have a working business model, a plan, so you don't squander the money inadvertently or advertently. A caseworker that's going to deal with your credit exclusively and immediately, and a website so you can track the results of the monies coming in, as well as see the deleted items as we remove them, the positive items as we add them, and your credit scores as it's on the rise. And like I continuously say, even if you think you have good credit, I would then ask you, so where's your 300,000? Where's your 200,000? Where's your black card? Where's your... Then it's going to be like, well, yeah, why don't I have that if I got over 750 credit score? Because there's firewalls on your credit that need to be torn down. That's coming by way of LexisNexis, spelled with I's, check systems, spelled with an X, and a whole bunch of CDAs, consumer data aggregates, that impede on your ability to get approved or get the highest amount for anything that's available onto you. So we have to talk to those other bureaus, those covert bureaus that exist. You don't even realize that your bank have their own credit scoring system for you. Your bank has a credit scoring system for you that they don't tell you about. Real talk. Real talk. Okay? So keep in mind, don't get caught out here during this recession and find yourself hurt. Hey, yo, Joe. Because once that first quarter come and they officially announce, oh yeah, we're going through a recession. When they make it very clear that, hey, expect more layoffs, and you end up being one of the people that's laid off, or you start realizing the price of living is going up exceedingly high and it's contradicting the amount of money that you make, the price of living is contradicting your income, don't be put in a position to have to go through the anxiety and the depression of not being able to do for your loved one, your children, your spouse, your significant other, your niece, your uncle, your nephew, your friends. It's the most painful feeling in the world to not be able to do something nice for people you love because you're limited in resources. It's the worst feeling in the world. So yeah, you go to brotherpolite45@gmail.com. You leave your full name, your phone number. When you're ready, I have to stress that, when you're ready to spend the $2,000 to change your life, to become a master of your own destiny, to no longer be limited to time, space, and place because of a lack of resources, you connect with us. When you don't want to let down your daughter or your son or your wife or your husband, when you want to get out of that pocket where you hate where you live, but you got to wake up every day like that, know you're better than the place you live, know you're better than the people that you're around. And I don't mean better like on an egotistical level, I mean better like you're on a higher frequency and you want to start associating with like minds. You want to be in environments with like minds. You want to be in a better neighborhood where there's more trees, better air, less exhaust, less crime. That's not a lot to ask for. You have every right to those things. You feel what I'm saying? Well, with the type of business infrastructure we create is predicated upon the model, control everything, own nothing. When we're poor, we like to have everything in our name. We take a sense of pride from it because we've been denied of so much. When you start obtaining wealth, you realize it's actually the opposite. You don't want to own anything. You want to control everything. Literally, you could die, leave this planet Earth, and on paper be broke. but have walked as one of the most wealthy people in the world. Control everything, own nothing. Make your business infrastructure stand in your person. That's why a synonym for the word corporation is person or legal person. Because it does everything you do minus the flesh and blood. And that's why if you had to go to court, it'd be the city or the state that summons you to court, because the city or state is acting as a physical entity. And they're not even talking to you, they're talking to the corporate you. So that's why it's a summons, because it's almost like trying to conjure up the spirit. And that's why when you show up to court, you say you're there on special appearance. You can't just appear, because they don't even talk to you. Coming on special appearance to challenge the court on the ground they lack jurisdiction, making them in violation of Article 3 of the Supreme Laws of the land. So forth and so on. But it's your right, man. I'm not going to go into that data right at the moment. But yeah, this is Rolls Royce Diaries. I'm too smart to be broke. It costs way too much to be poor. Yeah, Rolls Royce Diaries. Don P. Nick Rose say the darnest things. So I just be renting this car out all year for the last 4 years straight. You go up and down my Grand, and you see me with the purple or the violet rose. Cause you know violet is my favorite color. Yeah. Only time you don't see me with it is when I'm in a different city, because I got different cars in different cities. Talk to me nice. Yeah. Got a studio session today. You know, I gotta come get my ginger shots and my coconut water straight out the coconut. Yeah. It's my brother June.
Rolls Royce Diaries, you heard?
Rolls Royce.
Day.
Uh-huh.
Getting that good food in.
Yeah.
You know
Got
what
that
I'm saying?
that cauliflower pizza.
Yeah.
You take the wheel for me, Brody?
Yep.
Rolls Royce Diaries. Talk to me nice.
Now, nothing about this guy is rich, right? That's obviously rich. There's nothing about him outside the car, right? Outside the car that resembles or is a reflection of he's just so rich. Now watch this. If so, you know the scam, I just broke down the scam operation, how it makes no sense. Polite get paid on a promise, and then the workers get paid on a double promise. The first promise is the client paying Polite, and the double promise is the clients paying Polite and Polite paying the workers. So the workers get paid on a double promise, brother Polite get paid on a single promise, right? That's not how that shit works, man. With all that money, okay, think about all the money that's at stake. We're talking about 20, 50 grand each client is getting. And he said, remember, he said they will get the money. So come on, bro. And everything is contingent on the client paying Polite like they said they would. So it's just word of mouth, a verbal contract. You know, people who don't have a verbal contract coming from people who have no financial or paying debt credibility. These guys are known to skip paying their debt. Now they're in debt to Polite. And all of a sudden, these people are just going to become responsible now, honest, and start paying their debt all of a sudden. Like, dude, stop it. This is why, like, the professionals, what they do is they get you in the habit of paying your debt off. They get you to fulfill your promise, your agreement, your contract, and it gets you paying your debt off, gets you back into the swing of being honest. Polite didn't get these guys in the habit of being honest, so why would they be honest with him? They see all this money in their account, okay? Because I'm sure if this money is real, this money doesn't get sent to you in a check. It gets sent to your bank account. So one day somebody checked their account and that thing says $250,000. You think they, and remember, polite is just a promise. There's nothing in the contract. Come on, man. Like people, if you put your car in your aunt's name, she ain't giving that shit back. And you could prove you paid cash and she did, and get that car back from her in court, possibly. But this for here, there's no contract. Come on. How you as a worker gonna be able to prove that polite got paid and owe you some money when he's asking them for 10%? This is a sloppy scam operation. And it's so sloppy. Look what happened to him at the hotel. So now look at this. If y'all think that was interesting, listen to the conversation at the hotel. This guy has all this money, but look what problem he's faced with.
Yeah.
It's already checked in for
Oh. Yeah. Just give me a few minutes because I'm just finding out what's going on.
All right, Mr. No.
Yeah, how you doing? I'm doing good.
First, I'd like to start by thanking you
I've
for
had
your
2
business.
rooms already.
Appreciate
Neither one
it.
work.
You have the flashlight.
Sorry.
That's okay. It
51.
happens
The
with
AC
me
is
too.
stuck on 39 degrees.
Where's that at?
The first room.
Is it off?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Hold on for me real quick. I'm listening.
That's okay. So here's the thing. With the multiple one-night stays, it's very hard for us as the operation to manage this, right? For example, that room we have set for VIP arriving on Sunday. So we need that room. So it's very hard to keep up with the one night back-to-back reservation. So what I wanted to speak to you is if you're planning to stay for longer, that you book at least 2 nights instead of booking one night every day and then upgrading from there. We never know the occupancy on the day of. South Beach right now is crowded, so we're picking up 25 rooms a day.
I get it.
So, and we're about to welcome a large group on Sunday, starting on Sunday. So I would recommend that if you're planning to stay in the city and you want to stay with us, that you book every day and then upgrading.
All right. I mean, my schedule just fluctuates so much that at any given point, I might fly away. So this has been like a base for me, as well as LA or New York. So depending on what my schedule takes me, I kind of stay there. And because my schedule kind of fluctuates, there's been times my assistant books a whole week, and I only stayed 2 days.
Okay.
So I don't want to miss out on all that money, and then I can't get a refund because it's already booked and it's not within 24 hours. So that's why I've been booking by the day so much that at any given point, I might fly away. Yeah, so this has been like a base for me, as well as LA or New York. So depending on what my schedule takes me, I kind of stay there. And because my schedule kind of fluctuates, there's been times my assistant books a whole week, and I only stayed 2 days. So I don't want to miss out on all that money, and then I can't get a refund.
Explained a little bit.
Yeah.
But notice how you say you miss out on all that money. Bro, if it's all that money, yeah, this dude is paying day by day. He's this rich guy who can buy a $400,000 car, but he can't get a room 5 to 10 days. He can't pay for it for 5 to 10 days in advance. And he might not, how many times you guys went somewhere and you pay for your hotel in advance, and some nights you just ain't make it back? This guy wants to take advantage of every day in a hotel. This rich guy. So he got all this money, instead of just saying, yeah, wait, why are you telling her your business? Bro, she don't care about that. Like, you're explaining why you're not paying in advance. And she like, well, that's not how that works here. She's saying people don't do that. People stay and they'll pay extra here and there. But dude, you've been paying extra every day. You've been extending every day. Nobody does that. People, okay, let's say if he was there 7 days in a row. Most people just pay for 7 days in a row, or at least 5, and then extend two nights. Dude, you pay for 1 day when you got there, and you're extending every day. These people are confused. Like, yo, what are you doing? So she's explaining to him why that's not cool.
Recommend is 2 nights stay. So instead of 1 night, 2 night, and even if it's prepaid, I know you're prepaying the reservation, you're probably finding better deals. We can, in case that you need to depart, I will guarantee you that money will be refunded back to you. We will not charge you in case you have to depart early.
All right. So how is so many people coming in here day to day, but my reservation day to day is messing things? I imagine you getting new bookings every single day, correct?
But for back-to-backs, 1 night, one after the other.
I believe every day you get new check-ins, right?
Nights.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right, but you were extending 1 night every day, so it's hard for operations. We don't know if you're going to use that room or not. Right now,
I got you. I'm not looking to be confrontational. I was just trying to figure out. Don't you have several people extending their stays when they're here?
But not 1 night every day, no.
But I imagine you hold like over 1,000 people here probably. I might be wrong, give or take. I'm sure you get hundreds of people extending their stay.
We get a few people extending a 5-night stay, 3-night stay, 2-night stay, yes, but not on every day, back-to-back reservations for 1 night.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll do what I can to accommodate y'all, even though I believe y'all should be accommodating me.
We do, and we were happy to do that. The last stay, you stayed for 15 nights, booking every
I've stayed here
night.
for like a month. 2 weeks ago, I was here for like a month, 2 rooms at a time. I would expect to get a free room or something, or some kind of discount, not a don't keep extending your stay day to day.
I appreciate your business. However, it's just not how we operate, right?
Where does it say that in writing that I can't extend my stay day to day?
If I don't have, oh no, you can. I'm just not recommending you to do that.
Oh, okay.
You might have to be moving rooms. For example, you might have to move rooms
Understand.
in the next 2 days because we'll need that room.
Okay.
So if you're okay with that, you want to continue to book
Yeah,
1
because
night,
if my sister
it's
sees a
just-
room online, there should be no reason for me to get a personal note that the room's not going to be
I
available.
understand, and we're being accommodating. We appreciate, like I said, we appreciate your business. You're booking the standard room. We are upgrading you no matter what the rate for those rooms. The loft today is selling at $1,000, $800. That's not what we're
Understand.
charging you. So we are accommodating you.
Yeah.
Please understand, we do appreciate your business. However, we can continue to do this on a daily basis.
I hear you. Like I said, I'll do what I can to, make it work out. So there's some reciprocity. I just was curious.
Absolutely. It's just that it causes confusion, like I said, especially with the suites and with higher occupancy. For example, this weekend, we are at a higher occupancy. We can't continue to do that. So if you book...
Well, where does the confusion come in? Because if it's not available, then it's simply not available, and it's my loss if it doesn't work out for me.
Right, but however, we don't know what time you're going to be checking out. Checkout is at 11. So if you stay in that room, let's say tonight.
Hey, you
then
get some new
tomorrow
keys for me?
night,
Yeah, I'm
and
listening.
I need that room at 11 a.m. in the morning, which most likely is what I will
Yeah,
do.
so then I should just get a notice or notation, let me know, we need you to check out at this time. There'll be no later checkout.
Absolutely.
I don't have a problem with that.
This is why I wanted to have this conversation
Yeah.
with you. So I wanted to explain the process to you. And
Okay.
why,
I understand.
yeah.
No
Okay.
problem.
All right, perfect. So you already checked in the reservation for today.
Yeah.
Starting tomorrow, not tomorrow we still have the room available, but starting Sunday we will not have that room available.
Okay, that's all right.
And we will not
That works
have
for
the
me.
1-bedroom suite also for this weekend.
No problem.
Okay?
That's not a
Just wanted
problem.
to give you a heads up.
I appreciate you telling
Thank
me.
you so much.
Okay.
Of course. And I appreciate you understanding.
No problem.
All right.
What's your name again?
My name's Fernanda.
Fernanda. All right.
Correct. I'll be here throughout the weekend, so if you need anything, please let me know.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
These gonna work for our room? Cause it say no.
I think I got some old keys. Only thing they should be talking to me about is all these damn keys. Here's some old keys. We be good. It's all right. Did you guys get to hear that? I hope y'all was able to hear this. I'm causing confusion by extending the state. They got over 1,000 people checking in every damn day. They got over 1,000 people checking in here every day. But my extensions is causing confusion. You got over 1,000 people checking in every day, but me extending day to day is causing confusion. But you know, I exercise a lot of patience because I know I got it recorded. Y'all heard, did y'all hear it clear enough? Please tell me, press 9 if y'all heard that stuff clear enough. Yeah, like nigga. Like if the room's not available when I extend, then the room's not available when I extend. But why I gotta go on my way to buy rooms extra days that I'm not comfortable with? It's nice she said I'm gonna get my refund, but I ain't gonna get it the same day. Cause we know how this refund shit work for hotels. They don't even give you your security money back the same day. You be waiting 3-5 days, thinking that shit back in your bank account, and after a while you lose track. Y'all know what it is if you ever travel and go to hotels. So I want to put myself in a position. I'd rather live with the, oh shit, I don't need the room tomorrow. I'd rather live with that. I don't need the room tomorrow, and do what I do. Oh, thank you, y'all heard it. Yeah, come on, fuck out of here. But you know, I stay calm because I wanted it recorded and documented because I feel like I'm being violated. I feel like I'm being disrespected. And I would like to know if that is within their company policy, where there's a limit to extending, or if you're just making this shit up. And if you're just making it up, why? Why are you applying rules to me that you're not applying to other people? I would like to know that. So I'm like, you know what? I feel I handled it perfectly well. Considering that we're live and you guys got to hear it for yourself. So I know I'm not bugging. Shit don't make sense. Is it me, or do you think there's some level of discrimination there? Because I don't like reaching and jumping out the window. But when I was told they want to speak with me about the amount of days I keep extending, and then I'm like, if the website say the damn room is available, then why are you telling me personally it's not going to be available? Let the website, let the internet say so. Let the receptionist say so. Why are you coming to me directly to tell me that a room will not be available that presently is? It's almost like you're telling me don't book the fucking room. It's literally like you're telling me don't book the room. It's available right now. And guess what? We booked it anyway. Because I made sure before I left the freaking room, I booked for tomorrow too. And guess what we're going to do? I'm going to book the next day too. Like, come on now. Like, what is that? You going out your way to tell me something's not going to be available to me? My money is not going to be available? Somebody else's money is going to be available? Put a block on the goddamn room. Don't come to me telling me it's not going to be available to me. And integrate it with this idea or this notion that because I'm extending my stay day to day, I'm causing confusion. If I could cause confusion for extending my stay day to day, imagine the level of confusion of accommodating for all these people, all these rooms. Do you know how big this place is? Oh my goodness. This place is so huge. They gotta have thousands of rooms up in here. 1,000 rooms, something like that. It's too big. So if you can't handle little old me extending my stay day to day, how you going to be able to handle running this business? You know what I'm saying? So I'm causing confusion by extending my stay day to day. I'm like, you got like 1,000 rooms here. Isn't it confusing? If I could cause confusion checking in every day and checking out every day by myself, you must be overwhelmed with the responsibility to check in everybody else that comes in here and check them out by the day. How's my one check-in and check-out causing confusion? And
she recommend like us to not like it's not like you can't do it, you know what I'm saying? She
yeah.
recommend, like,
And you here telling me about a room that won't be available? Like, nigga, it won't be available. Why you telling me? I don't need a personal notice that something won't be available. Hey, I done spent over 30 bands here just the last time around booking y'all guys' rooms. Like, you can't spend enough money when you this complexion. That's how I just be feeling.
I know, I'm really about to do it.
Hold on real quick. Shit's so sick. What I gotta do? That's what I'm saying. No matter how much you drippy, you be in a $400,000 damn car. You could book 2-3 rooms at a time for 30 days straight. Your rooms could cost $1,000 every time. You know what I'm saying? Niggas act like they giving me something for free. I'm paying for everything I fucking get. Went on a 30-day tier. Left for a week and change, came back. Another 2 weeks straight. I was gonna wrap it around, but whatever one's easier.
You wanna do that?
Huh?
How you wanna do it? Nah, I hold it.
Alright. Just make sure my drive don't fall out. It's inside a pocket buttoned up. I'm just saying be careful. You ain't gotta do that, King. You know these stores close themselves.
Thank you, Papa.
Alright, Papa.
Don't do Papa like that, man.
Hey, man.
That's my guy.
Rolls Royce Diaries, man.
Hold on.
Thanks, man. They said I showed them how to remain cool. I'm causing confusion by checking in and out every day. I'm like, then what you call this establishment? It's like 1,000 rooms of people checking in and out.
So she basically tripping because we're not giving nobody else the time to book the
The
room
opportunity to get the room they want.
Why?
Fuck. The fuck
We
is you
already
talking about,
we
nigga?
already in it. We gonna rebook it again, what?
I already did.
This
This
fucking shit.
this ain't Big Mama's house and we gotta save the pasta for somebody. What the fuck wrong with you?
We need all that shit.
He definitely he ain't even gonna ask for
We
it.
need all that shit.
We ain't saving no
That's a
seconds.
fact.
Don't let it be a burrito. You gonna walk in there with that shit bitten by this nigga.
Balls.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, that sounded crazy. But yeah, let me save this video before I confirm the exact hotel location. Well, we could get real goofy if we want. Watch this nigga. He driving dumb. Damn, why are you speeding up when you see people? Goodness. 1,000 rooms for just a few suites, huh? Come on, they got mad suites. I'll be in the loft. I like to have that upstairs, downstairs, see the water, the view.
How do I lift this up on these rolls?
This nigga ain't learned yet. Some niggas is just slow learners.
Nah, this shit different. I ain't gonna lie.
Look at this dude. Been popping in and out of Rolls and Lamborghinis and still ain't get it yet. And I ain't gonna let him know nothing either. I'm gonna push you off the branch and you gonna learn how to fly or die.
I'm different. Fuck.
Yeah, I'm different. He talking about me, the Don. But yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, I stay calm. Because I already had in my mind, you know, I'm just going to document this. Because I bet you if I would have put the camera in her face, she wouldn't have said all those incriminating things that sound like somehow they basically need space for somebody else other than us. That's what it sound like. I could be wrong, but it sound like we need to accommodate for them. As I said, okay, I'll accommodate for you, but I thought y'all supposed to be here accommodating for us. You're asking me to not book rooms so you can know what rooms we're going to be in? Because then I'm upgrading. Don't upgrade it if it's not available. Fuck wrong with you? If it ain't available, it ain't available. But you probably don't want to get caught up denying me of a room and getting caught out there. So now you're trying to shut me down with these so-called private conversations, but we got you.
Come on, champ.
Man,
Come on, champ. You got the money to book in advance, right? You got all this money coming in, all these streams of income. And you can't book in advance. You can blow $1,000 on all type of foolishness. You dig? Clothes and foolish, but you can't spend it on a room. And you're doing business. That's called an investment. If you're making all these thousands, this big money, going here to going here, then the down payment, the advance payment, not down payment, the advance payment, the booking your rooms, right? In days in advance works for you. You'll get the money back 20-fold. Why are you complaining about? He just said he spent $15,000 on rooms, right? On rooms from that particular hotel. So why wouldn't you just spend that? So here's my thing. Like people know, even if you're gambling, right? Gambling, spending money, shopping, you already know what your cap is, right? Nobody, especially shopping, going out to eat, you already know your cap. You already know, okay, I don't mind spending this low and spending this high is okay with me. But you know what's ridiculous for you. You're like, nah, you already know this dollar amount is too high. I won't go this far. Even like betting, sport, your friend, whatever you bet about, like you already know what you're willing to, the most you're going to bet, right? That you're willing to pay out. If he spent 15 grand, that means that there was an perceived idea in his head, what he's willing to spend on rooms and what he's not. So if you spend $15,000 on rooms, that means if you're a smart man with all this money and you can give financial advice to people, you can be their mentor on money, then you would know that there was already a dollar amount in your head that you're willing to spend on rooms, right? And obviously $15,000 was in that number, that range. So why not just give them 15 grand from the door? Now, when you extend 2 or 3 times, not a problem. But if you're extending every day, that's what she was saying. You're extending every day. They look at that as unnormal behavior. Like, yo, she pretty much said that in a professional way. Like, yo, who does that? Who extends every day? Like, dude, you gotta go.
Yeah, it's probably burning your soul that the best rooms in the building, we keep occupying.
Thank you, my brother.
We keep occupying the best.
Right. He's trying to work this guy. He's trying to work the system. And I wonder, I wish they would have said, yo, and listen, you're paying on a prepaid debit. Like, you don't have a credit card. I would have been hollering. She should have said that.
Best rooms in the building. Probably burn their soul. Like, man, my non-black people can't get up in these rooms because, Sunday they trying to turn up.
Exactly.
And now he's going to pull the race card. Dude. He's going to ride off in a $400,000 Rolls Royce. He's going to ride off in. She's looking like, what's going on with this guy? He pulls up in his car. We got valet. He don't want that. He'll park it himself. And our valet will house the car under some type of roof. He don't want that. He'll park it in an open space like everybody else. Like, yo, something about this guy is weird. And I don't really want him here. I just sense my job's on the line. I just sense a shootout happening here. Some Quavo shit gonna happen here. Let's get this guy out of here.
Oh, you trying to give me a heads up to not get that room so you can get them up in there. But in actuality, if it was that simple, in actuality, guess what? It just wouldn't be available because since it's going to be so packed Sunday, it would just not be available.
Use your blinkers, maximum.
What you talking to me about? Watch these people, man. It's all out here. Scamming. These niggas scamming too. Look at these scam artists. They be wilding out.
Garden in front of a rose.
There's no respect out here. Of course, we're gonna acquiesce to you, Mr. Beamer. This is something
10
different.
miles per hour out here without niggas darting in front of
Look
you.
at another scammer. Everybody on these alternative vehicles are scamming. They all scamming. Let me stop playing around. They're on foot scamming too. Rolls Royce Diaries, man. This was a great episode of the Rolls Royce Diaries. We gonna go viral too. Watch. We gonna repost this shit. We gonna go the fuck in. I'm probably gonna put the name right in the title right now, just to get it out the way, and then they gonna find out about it.
Shit is dope. I would seal some of this shit up by the time this shit was salvaged.
Cooked. But blessings in abundance, y'all. Just showing y'all how y'all deal with it. Don't talk blessings in abundance, y'all. Just showing y'all how y'all deal with it. Don't have stupid conversations with people unless you're gonna record it. If you can't document it in no shape, form, or fashion, decline from the opportunity to be talked stupid to. That's my shit for 2023 and beyond. That's what I learned from doing those debates.
Well, guess what? That always been my motto. That's why I don't debate unless it's recorded. You dig? So you just got that revelation. That's been my standard. I'm not gonna sit here and do a fruitless argument with a clown that's lying on purpose or being disingenuous on purpose, and there's no record to show for that. Nah, I record it. So yeah, I'll have this with you now because I'm gonna document it. So now you gotta stand on what you said, right? So I'm glad you also came to that revelation.
If somebody gonna talk stupid, let's at least record them so we can put the playback on there.
So everybody can hear it.
Let everyone hear it. Don't have nobody talking stupid to you. Don't have nobody undermine your intelligence with no documentation, no form of receipt to confirm the insult.
Text will we print as the
All done.
Got my ticket called holiness, righteousness, sanctification, keeping them commandments. That's my ticket. Loving my neighbor as myself. Got my ticket.
Now he's supposed to be a big dog in the Hebrew Israelite movement. He's supposed to be a big dog. I don't know where this guy came from, but to me, it looked like he came out of nowhere, right? And he gave me all these followers and live viewers.
Loving Marguerite.
But he about to pull. He's about to pull the what's the dude name in Brooklyn or Harlem that got locked up? He about to pull one of those cards. Watch.
Ain't never met her. Loving Hezekiah. Ain't never met her. Got my ticket.
So now his real agenda is about to pour out right on the live when this was live, and this is what I charge most of them with. They already have a feeling before they join the Nation of Islam, before they join the Hebrew Israelites, Black Israelites, before they join the Moors, like they already feel a certain way about society. They already feel a way about society. So they're either going to join something that share the same sentiments as them, or they're going to start something themselves. And look, so this is what they all, look at this guy, this weird guy.
Hear me, black lyrics. We gonna see the king preach. Hey! I'm ready to run around this house! I can't wait! I'm sick and tired of this place! Hell, now you're tired of this place. tired of this place. I'm tired of this place. I don't care what he got to do to get us out of here, man. I'm tired of this place.
Yo, you would think this dude, like, I've never been outside the country, but you would think this dude is living in a poor part of India, a poor part of Africa. You know, those people in Turkey walking on all fours, or those poor Jewish communities. You would really think he's living like that. This dude is getting donations that they come across the screen. He's getting free money just to go live, and he's acting like he just living in absolute poverty. But what he's really doing is he's appealing to the feelings of his audience. They feel like that because they are, you know, in poverty, not really living their best life, job after job, no job, piss poor income, criminal record, you dig, 5 baby daddies or 5 kids, no baby daddy, struggling. So he's really speaking for them. And this is how he appealed to their feelings. His background don't look like he in some rut or he in need for money. This dude be happy partying every day with his family. But he gonna come online, live stream, acting like he's ready to leave, like he's ready to go with the Father in heaven. He's ready to just give up the ghost.
I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of this place.
Yeah, I gotta read the chat. Let me make this smaller. You got heartache and pain. Me too. I hear you, Elder. Me too. I want to go home. Heaven. I want to die. Me too. Me too, Elder. So tired. Me as well. We all are. I want to hear that, and I can't wait to sit and break bread with Yahshua the Father. They want to all die. This is some Jim Jones shit right here. All right, y'all want to all die? All right, let's go over here to where Guyana, where they go? And let's drink this juice, and we gonna all see the Father. If y'all say y'all tired of this place, prove it. Let's go see the Father. That's what Jim Jones did. I hear you and feel you, Elder. I'm tired of the wicked. Yes, me too. Over it. We all ready to go, Chief. Read these comments.
The closer you get to God, the closer you get to God, the closer you get to God, the more
he's appealing to people who are, in my opinion, in their own opinion, failures, have failed to provide a life according to their own standards in this country. And these people are just feel like nothing I'm going to do is going to change my current condition. I'm ready to go to heaven, put on my spiritual body, and eat honey and drink milk. That's how most of these people feel. Look at the chat.
Oh, you hate this place. It feel like a prison. It feel like a prison.
This dude, 300 pounds.
We gotta get there, church. God told Moses. He told Moses. He said, Moses, I hear the cry of my people. We gotta get to where our ancestors was. We gotta get sick of this place. Our ancestors, when they got sick of ancient Egypt, they started crying. It was those cries that made God call Moses. He said, Moses, I hear.
All right, I'm done with that guy. I just want to show you these scam artists. All right, send the guy some donations, everybody. Send the guy a donation. You gotta send the guy a donation. He made y'all all feel mushy. Go ahead and send you hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. Anytime you feel something stupid coming your way, get ready to record it. If it's implicating you or impeding on your process, your progression, get to it. Gotta have receipts. But now that we got the receipts, game time. I just wanted to get a consensus from my people to see if it was just me. Because from the time I got the phone call that I needed to talk to somebody about the amount of stays that I've been extending, I'm like, oh, you guys are finally going to give me a free day or something? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, took $50,000 and more to go, but hey, oh, you guys want to give me a room? You want to talk to me about moving in? I'm thinking this is what I'm going to hear. Not thinking we would like you to stop. and more importantly, stop targeting the best rooms in the suites. Stop targeting the ones with the upstairs and downstairs. Stop targeting the lofts. Stop targeting our $1,000+ rooms. But you know, like I said, I do what I do and then I upgrade because I don't know what I'm doing from one day to the next a lot of times. And even if I do know what I'm doing one day to the next, I'd rather take the risk to have not upgraded a room that I extended than to lose out on my money because I'm about to fly off randomly. Like, come on, I can't be the only person who buys one-way tickets places and books a room a day or two at a time. Because 2 days ago, I booked two rooms at a time, or 3 days ago, I booked two at a time because I really understood my schedule like that. But you ain't gonna force me to buy more rooms than I need, or give me the little passive-aggressive bullshit. Come on now. Anyways, and I just get the impression you wouldn't mind if I'm just angry and go somewhere. Just get out of your hair like we're doing something. We're not breaking no rules. Don't smoke. You know what I'm saying? We don't drink.
We just lit.
We're not doing none of that in the rooms.
We just lit and they hate it.
We barely in the room. Like, we got a 24-hour studio session today. We're not even going to be in the room that I paid for. It's just storage right now. It's literally storage. We're going to be outside. And then when we take our break from studio, we're going to go to a restaurant. We're going to go to the club. Then we're going to go back to the studio. We're never going to see that studio until the same time tomorrow. Damn near. We're never going to be back into that hotel room until sometime tomorrow around this time. Like, come on. I'm paying for storage, expensive storage, and still that's not enough. We're not even in there doing anything. But you know, I'm not shocked, nor am I in a sense of dismay, because this is the hate you get. I get a different type of hate from black people and a different type of hate from white people. And somewhere there's a through line, a middle line where they all meet. It just is what it is. It just means I'm doing something right, but we're going to get their ass. We're going to be on their body. I promise you that. I'm out of here. Thank you guys for listening. Yeah, I should be getting free room for the rest of my life.
Business owner just wants to.
We already had this discussion, man. We already. It worked better than I thought. Couldn't believe people would talk so stupid. I was hoping this was a psych out live moment.
But so textual
Don't let her say that, you all audience, because she's an expert in this.
Well, I'm trying to think.
So this is Bart Ehrman. This is the guy that Dr. Bart Ehrman. This is the guy that Sabio, some of the people in the chat said appealing to authority to. Let's see. American scholar. So I want to know, what is his degree in? He's an American New Testament scholar focusing on textual criticism of the New Testament, the historical Jesus, and the origins and development of early Christianity. He has written and edited 30 books, including 3 college textbooks. He has also authorized 6 New York Times bestsellers. He is the James J. Gray Distinguished Professor of Religious Studies at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. There you go. That's him right here.
You gotta say it. I mean,
This is how to translate the Bible, problems and pitfalls, right? So when people complain about different versions, we can get that out the way right now. You can stop doing that. There's no favorite version. It's either accurately translated or it's not.
better at this kind of, explaining.
That's possibly accurately translated or it's not.
But so the idea is you have, thousands of manuscripts of the Greek New Testament, and you have to make a decision about, well, what text will we print as the guiding text, right? I'm going to use that word. So people have decided differently about what that guiding text, that text that's printed in if you open up an edition, what the main text is.
You're talking about the Greek, the edition of the Greek New Testament.
The edition of the Greek New Testament. And what textual critics do is debate the method and the rules for how to develop that text that ought to be printed as the text from which we might do our translation. Okay. And then textual critics, usually like the English translators, try to show their work through something called a critical apparatus that shows what they didn't decide to put in the main text. Okay, so the RSV and the NRSV and also the NIV, although that's a little bit different story, follow the tradition of employing New Testament textual criticism, that art of or science of deciding what the text is and then showing your work as the base text for the translations that are made. And so one of the reasons why the Revised Standard Version was made is because there had been so many advances in the ways in which scholars who do work with the manuscripts understood what the text should be. And similarly, with the new Revised Standard Version, Bruce Metzger, as you know, was himself a very important, famous text critic. And there had been advances or changes, maybe would be a better way of saying it. New Testament textual critics might want to say advances, but progress or something. But there have been changes in understanding of what the best text ought to be. So in Metzger's generation of New Testament textual critics, the goal was to find the original text, the text as the author of individual New Testament books had written it down, and to try to figure that out based on comparing various manuscripts and using criteria and methods to understand what the original text was. And nowadays, people talk about something called the initial text. What was the text, the Greek text that from which all the other manuscript evidence can be explained? It's incredibly complicated. There's we could take an entire podcast and we still wouldn't understand what the heck they're talking about. And
Okay, all right, but when your committee or any committee, so we don't, but just when a committee of translators sits down, they're not like deciding on the Greek text for Matthew chapter 1 verse 1, right? They've got an edition in front of them they've got something in front of them they're actually translating.
Yes,
right?
Yes, that's right. So the mandate of the NRSV updated edition was actually to use the most recent text critical editions. Okay. So that would be, for our purposes, the one that's produced in Germany is the Nestle Aland 28, or in the United States would be the UBS, United Bible Society 5th edition, I believe. And then in this other work that's been going on called the Editio Critica Major, which is this massive project that's being undertaken in Germany, where all the texts of all of the books of the New Testament over time are being gradually reconsidered, and they haven't all been finished. So book editors who had all of that information available were sort of, their part of their mandate was to review that. And also Mike Holmes, the general editor that I worked with, had produced his own critical edition, the SBL Greek New Testament, and that was also to be consulted. So decisions were to be made. Text critical decisions were made by individual book editors, and then we as general editors would look at that. And, one of the reasons why I was, I think, asked to be one of the general editors is, although I do not and never will produce a critical edition of the New Testament, I know how the textual critics who are working today, how they do their work. And so I was able to tell, make suggestions. So,
the basic, for the basic line is somebody can go online and buy a Greek New Testament, and almost everybody's going to get a Greek New Testament that's pretty similar to every other Greek New Testament. There'll be some differences, but where there are important differences, the committee has to decide which Greek version do I follow? Which Greek text do I follow here? And different committees might decide different things. Like they might. Exactly. So there are some famous instances where most translation committees are going to agree that those verses were not originally in there, even though they're in the King James.
Yes.
And there are other times where text critics can't decide. Well, in Luke 22, when it says that Jesus was in deep agony before his being arrested, and he's sweating great drops as if of blood. So it's a sweating blood passage. Some manuscripts have that and some don't have it. And so translation committee just has to decide which side do we think is right.
Exactly.
And then translate it or not. And maybe have a footnote. Do they put footnotes for that kind of thing?
Yes. So when there were what something like a split decision in among the textual critics who are operating in this particular framework of like European and North American modernist textual criticism, when there was split decisions among the text critics around something, then yes, you'll see something like other manuscripts or I forget how we had a special set of words that we would use that indicate that there's different readings in different manuscripts. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So you're translating this Greek. So, and all right. So are there places where like the Greek is where the grammar is debate? You were talking about the word doulos, and we can talk about more words because there are a lot more words that are problematic. But are there also grammatical issues are there places where the grammar could be interpreted in a variety of ways? So there must be issues about punctuation, right? Because Greek manuscripts don't have punctuation, and you got to decide how to punctuate something. And so, so okay, could you just say something about grammar?
So one that comes to mind, it's kind of a grammar question and kind of a translation question mixed together, is that famous line in 1 Corinthians 7 where Paul says, hold on, let me look at my notes because I don't want to mess this up.
Okay.
I took notes on this one because I thought you might ask me this question. So here's my 1 Corinthians 7 slate thing. Darn it. See, I should have looked this up. You can edit this part out, right? The boring news stuff from here. This part can go away. Where'd it go? I put it in here. You know the one in 1 Corinthians where Paul's like,
Hold on, let me turn my computer on. I can't barely hear. Okay, this will be better for me. You guys can hear, but I can't hear.
Okay. Oh, here we go. There it is. 1 Corinthians. Okay, back into the world. 1 Corinthians 7:21, right? Where there's the Greek is incredibly ambiguous. What does Paul mean when he says malon kresa, right? Rather make use of it. Is that what he means? This is the part, were you a slave when called? Don't be concerned about it. Even if you can gain your freedom, make use of your present condition now more than ever. That was the old NRSV.
That's Paul talking to people in Corinth who were slaves?
People in Corinth who were slaves.
Okay.
And he's saying to them something, either he's saying, if you're a slave, bummer for you, but make good use of your present condition.
Okay.
Or is he saying something like, malon kresa, make use of your opportunity to obtain freedom? What is his nuance here? Yeah. So the old NRSV has make use of your present condition. The book editor came back and said, let's leave this as a minimum translation and recommended that we don't use, that we say something like rather use it, right? If you can gain your freedom, rather use it or something. So that was their book editor's recommendation. And so we sort of talked about that as a board because it was awkward English. And we said, well, maybe we could say, this was the board's discussion, but even if it is possible to become free, rather do so with a note, meaning of Greek uncertain. That was a recommendation. Okay. So what we submitted to the National Council of Churches was, were you a slave when called? Do not be concerned about it. But even if it is possible to become free, rather do so. That was what we ended up going with. And then what's in the actual translation is, were you a slave when called? Do not be concerned about it. Even if you can gain your freedom, make the most of it. So that was the National Council of Churches decision. I wasn't part of that. But there's still a footnote that says meaning of Greek uncertain. So here we have a kind of ambiguous Greek. And grammar can't really save it for us, right? But it actually really matters. Is Paul recommending that slaves try to gain their freedom, or is Paul recommending that they don't try to gain their freedom and just, make the best of it and like try to show that in fact they're not enslaved anymore, because spiritually they're not enslaved. They're slaves. They're slaves of Christ. So that means they're not enslaved to human masters. From Paul's
it sounds like you're saying that the final decision is made by people who are not experts in Greek or in translation.
Well, the people in the National Council of Churches who made that decision do read Greek. So the National Council of Churches representative on our committee was Abraham Smith, who's a fantastic scholar, as you know, who teaches at Perkins. And so presumably he was part of that discussion. And I don't know, somewhere there's notes about why that decision was made. But it's not outside of what the board had discussed, right? Like what their decision, make the most of it, is not that different from.
But it doesn't sound like it's being decided on academic grounds. In other words, it's not like people who are really wrestling with what an ancient language means. It's people who are concerned that the translation not be used in a bad way or understood in a bad way, and so it sounds like there are issues outside of linguistic scholarship that are determining how the translation gets done. Is that fair to say? That's
true, which is why people should read the preface to their translations, right? Because I don't
understand what it means.
But I'm not sure that people don't realize, or our students probably don't realize that all of these translations I don't know of a translation, maybe an individual translation, but every translation has some kind of confessional Christian involvement in it, to my knowledge, of the New Testament. So that's going to make a difference in terms of how the translation takes place.
You mentioned the New International Version earlier, and it's the most popular English translation. It has been for many years, and it reads very well. It reads well. It's a good translation that way. But the committee members, if I understand correctly, I think I do understand correctly, we're all evangelical Christians and had to have an evangelical commitment to the inspiration of the Bible. Right. And there are places where they simply translate away contradictions. I mean, they're contradictions that they just, the way they translate it's no longer a contradiction. And so you can't even, if you're reading that, you can't even tell that there's a problem. So like I'll have students in class and I'll be pointing out, this verse, that verse, the difference in this book, and they'll say, I don't see that. Look, so what translation? I'm using the NIV. It's a great translation in this way, but I guess it's really not different. You're saying it's not different. We all have institutional boundaries, or translators have institutional boundaries, and that affects things. Unlike say a translation of Homer, where where
exactly. And a translation of something like Homer has to be attentive not only to sort of ease of reading and how we could teach that text or whatever, but to a bunch of scholars who are going to yell at you if you don't get your.
Well, that's right. It's still institutional. That's right.
So, but with the New Testament, it's not only a bunch of scholars who are going to yell, and I'm sure, or not yell, maybe be annoyed or critical or whatever. And I'm sure there will be criticism of this translation, and I welcome that. I mean, I think that's appropriate actually, because like I said, there's things that as a scholar I probably wouldn't have chosen that this translation or that translation, but that's appropriate. And there will also be critics on the confessional Christian side. There will be other Christians who don't like this or that, and it's hard to bring all these interests together into a single translation. I mean, it's impossible, really.
So can you, let's go back to kind of on a more kind of technical level about translating Greek into English. It's got to be somewhat different from translating, French or Russian, because those are living languages, and we have trillions of books and articles and things written in these languages.
Yes.
But so with Greek, can you tell us just on the very basic level, Greek is still a spoken language, but the spoken language today, it just ain't like it was 2,000 years ago. And so how do you even know what words meant 2,000 years ago? Talking about the very basic, like how do you know what a word means?
Well, I think you have to just read a lot of Greek, and not only New Testament, right? You have to read all the Greek that you can get your hands on, from Homer all the way to, the 13th century, if you can. We have something called the Thesaurus Linguae Graeca, which is a giant digital compendium of all Greek literature from its earliest, extant moment up until, I think they're in the 16th century now. So if we could read all of that Greek, then we would have a chance. No, I think that the more
most people would say you just look it up in a dictionary, right? But how do the people make the dictionary know what the words mean?
Well, they read a lot of Greek. Exactly.
But you can't read the Greek if you don't know what the words mean. So what? So how's it work?
Well, they're also. If they're English speakers, for example, then they're also being trained by other English speakers what these words mean. So I think that the way we all start, at least I'll speak for myself. I started learning Greek was I had my Greek professor teaching me how to translate certain words. I think we all learned, at least what I did. I learned luo. To loose is the base, the base way of interpreting or sort of learning all of the verbal forms. And so nobody told me that to loose could also mean to set free or whatever. And I had to learn that over time through encountering the word in context. So initially you learn some kind of obvious meaning, and then you have to learn, you see the word happening, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, that's not quite what this means, or it means it, but it means it with a different nuance. So like to loose might mean to set free if it's in the right context.
Yeah. Okay. So the idea is then you get a basic meaning, but then so if you get the word hados, which means like a way, a road or a path, and then you're reading it, you realize when you read it enough, it doesn't mean dandelion, or it doesn't mean ship. Because it doesn't make sense, and so you see that makes sense of this context. But eventually you'll come to a context and say, wait, that doesn't really sound that the road or path doesn't really work here, but it means something kind of and so that's how they come up, by reading everything in context, I guess. So
exactly.
What happens with words, some of which you get in the New Testament, for which there is no other usage? In other words, a word is made. So the technical term, for those of you who are into technical terms, those are called hapax legomena.
Isn't that a great thing to call? That's a great term in English. Like hapax legomena is like such an awesome word. Everyone should learn that word.
They should. And I tell my students, you need to learn words like this so your parents will be able to justify their tuition costs. Learn hapax legomena. Okay, so you come across, and a singular for that is a hapax legomenon. And so when you come across a hapax legomena in anywhere, but in the New Testament there are a few. How do you know how to translate it if there's no context, right? Somebody's told you what it means, but maybe they're wrong. How do they know? So how do you know?
Well, I mean, you just read all the debates and then you make a decision. I mean, the example that sticks in my mind, which is it is a hapax legomena because it's a hapax legomena and it ends up being a hapax legomena, is the word arsenikotoi, which means is some kind of hybrid of the word man beds, right? So it's like the word man, arsen, plus beds, kotoi, the word for bed, man and beds mushed together into a word.
Where does this first occur? You know, I mean,
it first occurs in 1 Corinthians, Paul. It first occurs in a writing of Paul. That's the first known usage of this word in the Greek language. Now, that doesn't mean it didn't exist somewhere else. It just means it didn't occur. It didn't appear. It doesn't appear in extant literature, right? So we don't know if it was being used.
This is the passage where Paul is going through a list of people who will not inherit the kingdom of heaven.
Exactly.
And one of the people that won't be our man beds.
Exactly. I mean, whatever the heck that means, right? And people have made all kinds of different arguments about what it might mean. You know, maybe it means it's some kind of illicit sex between men. Maybe it's about some kind of exploitative sex between men. I mean, it could mean many different things. And there's no way to know. There is no way to know because it first occurs in this context as in a list of vices. And frankly, lists of vices are not usually offered in order to be specific about the activity. I mean, that's true.
Right.
That's true in our own context. If we're going to slur someone, you know, we're not like thinking about the exact activity. What we're doing is trying to use words that are mean to stick to somebody.
Well, that's right. And so we know it's something mean because it's in this list of vices, and people who like do whatever these man beds are doing is bad. This is the word that sometimes gets translated and understood as homosexual. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. That's correct.
And so people just assume it means homosexual, but in fact it could, you know, maybe, but not really even maybe. I mean, I think you and I.
No, I say no. It definitely doesn't mean that.
It absolutely cannot mean homosexual.
Absolutely cannot mean that. Right. It absolutely does not mean that. And it occurs
for reason other than man bed. I mean, it has to do with. In the ancient world, like the term homosexual would have made no sense to anybody. I mean, there wouldn't be a concept.
There was no category of a person who ontologically, you know, desired men. That like wasn't a thing. So like that doesn't exist as a concept.
There were men who did desire men, but there wasn't a concept that this kind of phenomenon exists. So they didn't have a sense of sexuality, orientation, or anything like that to even allow for
desire was not understood
sense.
The same way.
Yeah, right.
Completely on board with you. We are totally in agreement on this point.
And, So, but when you come across a word like that, you just take your best guess. I mean, you got to use another word, right? I would translate. I'll tell you my biggest problem with translation, Jenny, was when I was trying to translate the Apostolic Fathers, and I'd come across a word, and I was used to doing this with a group of PhD students, and you'd say, well, it could mean this, could mean that, could be that, and you kind of come up with a bunch of things. But then when you're doing translation, you got to type a word, right?
Yeah.
And you can't say it could mean this, and that. So what do you? I mean, how do you just take a good guess?
No, I mean, what we ended up doing, and I felt that was this agreed with me. I agree with myself. This decision was that we ended up deciding as a board to translate that word as men who have illicit sex. Footnote: meaning of Greek uncertain. For exactly this reason, we know Paul's saying something mean, and we know he's saying something mean about men. But beyond that, we don't know.
Men in bed, something
men who are in beds doing something, but what we don't know.
I think it's actually a pretty good decision.
I thought so too. I was happy with that. I do. I thought that was a good decision. And what we didn't like, and I think rightly so, was what the NRSV had. What did they have? They had sodomites.
No, the NRSV did?
They did. I mean, it's shockingly bad because it's anachronistic. It's so bad that it's like, it makes me cringe. I don't care what your perspective is. It's so bad. It's the worst translation and so bad. And so we got rid of that and tried to be as clear as possible that this is really an uncertain word because it is a hapax legomena.
Well, let me just say, now that you told me that, I just want everybody to know I had nothing to do with the NRSV. Sodomites. Whoa. All right. Yeah, well, we could have a whole thing about why that's bad because it's on a lot of different levels. So
I have a thing in Bible Odyssey. I had to write a thing about it in Bible Odyssey because we got in a lot of trouble for translating this as men who have illicit sex, footnote, meaning of Greek uncertain. Like really? when the initial release happened, a bunch of people wrote the NRSV update edition board and protested that decision. And so I wrote something about this is why.
Bible Odyssey is this online thing sponsored by the Society of Biblical Literature that people can just Google Bible Odyssey. They have articles on stuff like this, and they could
exactly. And so I wrote the one about man beds.
Man beds. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Did these people who protested have an alternative that they were suggesting, or were they just didn't like your
they thought we weren't mean enough. They wanted us to be meaner in our
go after some specific group they didn't like.
Exactly. Like they don't like this group, so let's go after him. I'm like, okay, that's a good reason to translate something the right way so you can be mean.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I want to end this with a final question. There are
Paul, they said illicit act something was terrible. And what would be more terrible than that? Because fornication is there, adultery is there, every rape is there, and those things are not seen as terrible in the Bible like that. But because Jesus didn't get that woman who was found in adulterous relationship stoned, and Joseph didn't get Mary stoned, who he thought was having an adulterous relationship. But that other thing, You dig that these people right here, yeah, don't want to be mean people. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. You just trying to make the Bible for everybody so everybody can spend their money. Stop it. That translation from that Bible y'all mentioned was probably the only people who wanted to be honest. Stop it. But y'all throw slavery in that Bible though. You'll be mean with that word. You know, you could say bondman, bondwoman, servant, all shit like that, indentured servitude. No, no, no. You're gonna say slavery because they talked about that earlier, by the way, in here about putting the word slavery in there, and they thought in some context it fit. All right, well, that Bible when they put that thing in there, that fit, as far as I'm concerned.
You know, there are people in our world today who still think that the King James version is the best translation, and they don't see any reason to read newer translations. And I don't mean anything specific about the NRSV or anything, just kind of generally. Is there a problem with just reading the King James, or is there a reason to read something that's a recent translation, or is there?
I'm gonna slow this one down because when they run to the King James, you can use the same response. So I'm gonna do so now. This is how you take notes. Okay, guys that want to share videos and have people put the burden. 5401 King James version, and the video Bible translations with Dr. How you spell his name? Herman. E-H. So you don't put the burden on somebody else. You put the burden on yourself. You just document as you watch it. I don't know why people don't do that. So it's easy. Just pause it.
A reason to read? I mean, yeah. So just generally, in your view.
So I think I like to read the King James version. I think the King James version is a beautiful translation. It's the one that my grandmother knew, and so it reminds me of my grandma. And I have no problem. I have no objection to reading the King James version. My objection would be to thinking that the King James version is an accurate translation of exactly what God said. I mean, that doesn't make sense because the King James version, like every translation, comes out of a historical context. It uses this archaizing English from our perspective, right? So the English has changed, just like Greek changed. English changed, and King James's English is not the English we use in the United States in 2022, and so it offers a misimpression of the language that's used in the New Testament, which is not an elevated language by and large, right? So it sounds to us when we hear thy and thou and thee and whatever that we're talking in some kind of we're pretending to be Shakespeare or something, I don't know, and so it makes us think
that's why I always had a problem with that. Okay. Hold up. She called it archaic language. Let me see. What's that? What's archaic language? All right. Archaic an archaic word is a word that was commonly used, but is now rarely ever used. Beautiful. This is an archaic language in my vocabulary. Rarely used or never used. Archaic language not only includes old words, but grammatical forms and definitions as well. Here are some examples of archaic words in archaic language. I mean, this is an old-fashioned word for a secretary. Wow, god damn, how you say this? How you say that?
Amanuensis.
All right. Secretary. You dig? This is an archaic word. Look.
That the New Testament's in this elevated language, but it's not. It's
why not note that?
Written in an elevated language by Greek changed in English from our perspective, right? So the English, I mean, that doesn't make sense because the King James version, like every translation, comes out of a historical context. It uses this archaizing English from our perspective, right? So the English has changed, just like Greek changed. English changed, and King James's English is not the English we use in the United States in 2022, and so it offers a misimpression of the language that's used in the New Testament, which is not an elevated language by and large, right? So it sounds to us when we hear thy and thou and thee and whatever that we're talking in some kind of we're pretending to be Shakespeare or something, I don't know, and so it makes us think that the New Testament's in this elevated language, but it's not. It's written in a very kind of coarse Greek by and large, and so it's a misimpression if that's all we're reading. So that's that, and then it also I don't know. I mean, it doesn't, it also uses a Greek text that most scholars would not accept as the best Greek text at this point. It is a Greek text, that was an important Greek text for Protestants, as that text came forward in the invention of the printing press through the Protestant Reformation, that became the Protestant text. It's called the Textus Receptus, or the received text. And that's the Greek text that's behind the King James Version.
Right, so you heard what Greek text they use. They use the Textus Receptus, all right? So let me document that.
As scholars would not accept.
Most scholars won't even accept that, right? So, but they'll tell you King James, got to be King James. That's why you see so many revisions of the Bible. That right there. All right, so one more time.
It's written in a very kind of coarse Greek by and large, and so it's
54.
It's a misimpression if that's all we're reading. So that's that, and then it also, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't. It also uses a Greek text that
17 King James. Let's get that down there. 55, 17 KJV version is wait, let's get the words correctly.
Most scholars would not accept as the best Greek text at this point.
The Greek text that uses a Greek text that most scholars will reject. I mean, they stay in the Textus Receptus. Hey, they stay in the gray area. Wherever. I mean, but that's where pseudos play at. They play in the God gaps. They play in the gray area. Okay, this is the only Bible. Like Elijah Muhammad, he told his followers to read from 2 Qurans. He said the Yusuf Ali, which most Muslims accept, and then he said the Maulana Ali that most Muslims don't accept. It's like, what? I'm talking about the Islamic world. The Islamic world accepts the Yusuf Ali, and the Islamic world does not accept the Maulana Ali. It's like, why would you tell them to read one Bible that's accepted as a good translation, and then also tell them to read the other Quran, which is most the Islamic world will reject as a bad translated Quran. It's not like he's saying, read the best, read the worst. No, he counted them both as great Qurans, and they're totally opposed to each other as far as how they sing. So the Hebrew Israelites, I mean, I can't speak for any other culture that's retarded. I can only speak from my experiences amongst my own culture. When we're pseudos, we like to go with the exception. So Textus Receptus is the Bible. The Bible that uses this Greek text is the King James, and that's the one we want to go with. And this might have been King James trying to be different from English, trying to be different from the rest of the world, because King James, he's gonna have his personal authorized Bible, so that might have something to do with it. But I think it's the only English Bible that uses this Greek text. One more time.
Point. It's by and large, and so it's a misimpression if that's all we're reading. So that's that, and then it also, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't. It also uses a Greek text that most scholars would not accept as the best Greek text at this point. It is a Greek text, that was an important Greek text for Protestants, as that text came forward in the invention of the printing press through the Protestant Reformation, that became the Protestant text. It's called the Textus Receptus, or the received text, and that's the Greek text that's behind the King James Version. So it is a historically valid Protestant text behind the King James Version, but it's not the Greek text that one would find in a critically edited New Testament that we use today.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, to the extent there are actually some important verses that are in the King James, because it was in the Greek text they're translating, that today most scholars say, those weren't originally there, and so
exactly.
But also, and at a deeper level too, other than just verses here and there. So, okay. Well, that's really helpful. It's nice to have somebody who's been recently involved with this entire process to tell us about it, because it really is a complicated thing, and it's more.
It was such a privilege. I just want to make that clear. Like, it was complicated, and not every decision went my way, but it was such a privilege to be part of that committee. I mean, and to listen to the book editors and to listen to the other members of the committee and to try to be as responsible as possible to all of these various constituencies who care so deeply about these texts. It was an incredible experience, and I feel so lucky that I was part of it. I just want
with Bart, because he does have the credentials. So LJ, that's very important that you said that, because when I look at, information like this, how Bibles are translated. Earlier, I tried to watch a Christian one, right? But this guy was just too religious. I mean, he didn't even get to any information. This guy was just too holy. So I'm like, yo, you damn if you do, you damn if you don't. Meaning that you're either gonna listen to people who are extra holy and religious, or you're gonna listen to somebody who's not religious and have, so both have an agenda. One is trying to prove the Bible is absolute correct, and that's translating it. And the other person is trying to debunk the Bible as something or not of God. So yeah, that's the only two scholars, especially if you're trying to do videos. If you're trying to watch this on videos, you're gonna get religious zealots or anti-religious zealots, both discussing this. That's why I thought that the woman, Megan Lewis, was pretty fair in her assessment and her experience. I tried to look her up, and the furthest I came was this. I don't know if this is her channel, but so I wanted to talk to her directly, either through email or whatever. But I wanted to talk to her. There we go. So you said I already looked at her earlier in the car. So I see that this is her right here. I don't know if this is her channel. She says, "Why do you hate the Bible?" So I would love to either correspond with her through email, or even she can hop on the Zoom link, the Zoom meeting. Oh, see, he's on here too. Damn, can we get her without Dr. Joshua Bowen? Can we get her without Urban? Is that possible? Let me see. How many comments are here? God damn, a lot of comments. All right, so let's see how far that goes.
want to say that, and really hats off to Mike Holmes, who was the other general editor, and to all the book editors who did such beautiful work. And frankly, they can't be thrilled because a lot of the stuff they recommended didn't happen. So I hope they'll all yell at us, because they all made great suggestions that we couldn't incorporate in the end for all kinds of reasons. So it was a great experience.
Oh, I'm glad. And it's, and it's important work. The National Council of Churches is the one who owns the copyright to this.
Exactly.
I mean, we're talking about the largest collection of Christian churches in America, and it's it's an entire group. And so this is the translation that they officially endorse and fund, but they endorse it. And so it makes a big difference when you're on that committee, because you're influencing how people understand the Bible.
Okay, so I might have a Bible debate later, 8 o'clock. I think he agreed to. So let me put so Lindsay doesn't know that this is a backup channel. This is the channel I'm going to share videos on, and we could watch them together, and live reactions, whatever, even the link you posted, Lindsay. But on my main channel, I can't afford to share any content because I got too many strikes. I'm going to be risking heavy suspension. So if you would like to watch the religious debate later, Lindsay, you can click this link right here. Lindsay? Okay, I'll click both of your links. That's mine. So here you go, Lindsay. Click. Channel. All right, there you go, Lindsay. Click that link, subscribe to my original channel. I'm going to have a debate. The debate is on the virgin birth. Actually, we already had debate. We talked about Matthew's 1. I'm a supporter that the Bible does speak of a virgin birth. The people I debate don't believe the Bible is mentioning a virgin birth. They think that's our misinterpretation of verses, and they from their words. This is not my words. From their words, they want to adjudicate what we read and properly fix it. Right? That's their words. So that's the words that they use to tell me that my interpretation is wrong. They're going to let me read it, and then they're going to adjudicate what I read and properly fix it for me. That's what they said. So we debated Matthew's 1. And now we're going to talk about Luke 1, because when I debate, we really don't get far because I provide so much evidence in whatever chapter I read from. They pretty much concede. So, they acquiesce or just blatantly just concede, literally just concede. So we're going to touch on Luke 1 because I feel like I don't give my audience enough information about the virgin birth. I have so much stuff to talk about rather than Matthew's 1. I got so much evidence to bring out that's overwhelming that advocates for a virgin birth in the Bible. So anyway, we're going to talk about Luke 1. So we're going to get past Matthew 1. And then eventually we might talk about Luke 3, or he might bring up Luke 3. I said, that's on you. I told him that that's not what I want to do. I want to discuss Luke 1. But if he wants to go to Luke 3, that's okay with me. But I said that could be a different discussion. So so 8:00 p.m. Eastern time is when we're supposed to be talking, having this, I won't say a debate, it's more like a discussion.
And
right,
that's
which is a huge responsibility, And I mean, Bart, you do this professionally too, right? You want to be as fair and accurate and just as possible in how you represent what you're reading and why you're making the decisions that you're making, and you do the best you can. But we're human. I mean, I think that's one of the things to remember when we're reading any translation is that human beings made these translations, in all of our situatedness and imperfection, and yet also our sincere effort to be responsible to the jobs that we've been entrusted to undertake.
Yeah. Well, that's a great way to end it. So thanks, Jenny. I really appreciate it. And
thanks, Bart.
so it's been really great. Okay, so good luck, and I suggest not taking on a translation project anytime soon. It's too much work.
I definitely am not going to. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
Well, thank you all for listening in, and we will have another.
With that, again, subscribe to the link. I'll have a discussion about Luke 1. He's going to attempt to show me that Luke 1's verses are not talking about a virgin birth or a prophecy of a virgin birth. So stay tuned. Peace, peace, peace. We're out of here.